uko sawa? Sawa, umeita na? Sawa, mtakukumbusha sawa. So hello everybody and welcome at the Sheldrick Wildlife Trust, Nairobi Nursery. We shall be bringing you 12 baby elephants having the bottles today. It is at 11 a.m. in Kenya. The elephants are fed on intervals of 3 hours a day and night. So this is one of the feeding moments. The elephants are out in the park. We're right inside Nairobi National Park. The elephants will go out every day in the morning at 6 so that they can learn on how to behave as wild elephants, and this is by natural instinct. And they're always accompanied by the keepers out there every day and to observe and provide assistance whenever needed. All the babies we're going to bring to you now are orphans, and they've been orphaned from different parts of the country, having different reasons for being orphans. Some of them, we know exactly what has caused them to be left orphans due to trade in ivory, and some have been separated from their families, the human beings, what we call human-wildlife conflict. And I'm afraid human-wildlife conflict in our country is on increase due to increase in the population of human beings compared to the space or size of land, causing conflict between the two every now and then, causing the separation, and some of the animals are being killed. And that's why the babies end up being orphans. And very few of them are orphans because of natural reasons like old age, natural diseases, and starvation back into the world. And all this having happened to the mothers when the babies are still very young, at an age where they would not have survived without the mother's milk, and also without protection against other dangers. And so that is why we have to come in so that we can help rescue them, hand rear them here for approximately 3 years, and any time after the age of 3, start to reintroduce them back into the world, and will always reintroduce them to Tsavo East National Park and Kibwezi Forest, a process that will take them a minimum of about 5 years before they fully get invited and adopted in a herd of wild elephants. That process of being reintroduced takes 5 years or more, and this depends on the different characters of different elephants. It depends on the reasons that have caused them to be left orphans, and also their age when they became orphans. That's why some of them might take a shorter period in terms of 5 years, others might go up to 8, 9, or 10 years before they get adopted. We already have a group of 3 elephants running in for the milk. And as usual, we've got an elephant who always wants to come in fast. And this is an elephant by the name Mukoka. He's approximately 2 years old. He was rescued from northern part of Tsavo East National Park. He was identified by our aerial surveillance team who are on patrol, who saw the little footprints of a young elephant all alone, heading a different direction compared to the rest of the footprints of a herd. And this young baby was heading towards a river. So our aerial surveillance actually followed the footprints to find out why the baby was alone and where the baby was going, but could not find this baby. Our teams on the ground also managed to patrol the next 2 days and found this baby who was only about 7-month-old by then. And that's why a rescue mission was actually put in place to rescue him. A young elephant will need the mother's milk for more than 2 years, some 2 years, some more. And him at the age of 7 months meant that he could not have survived out in the wild all alone. That's why he needed to be rescued. He's now 2 years. We expect to stay with him until the age of 3 before he goes to Tsavo to start the process of being reintroduced back into the world. Next to him is Olorian, who happens to be the latest arrival in the nursery. And Olorian is about 17 months. Olorian was rescued from the Masai Mara. She was identified all alone, observed for some time, hoping and expecting her to be reunited with the mother or the family members, something that never happened. And that's why a decision had to be made for her to be rescued, since if she could have been left out there all alone for a long time, her health condition was deteriorating, which means she could have died from starvation, because at this young age they cannot survive on vegetation. They need the mother's milk. Out in the world, they start to learn to feed on vegetation at the age of 8 months. and they can feed on enough vegetation to survive without the mother's milk when they're over the age of 2 years. And that's why at the age of about 15 months, she could not have survived. We had to rescue her. She's about 17 months and adjusting well in the nursery. Far end is an elephant by the name Ziwadi, who is 2 years old. And Ziwadi was rescued from the Masai Mara, identified alone and suspected to have been abandoned or left behind by the rest of the family members. For reasons we could not tell by the time she arrived in the nursery. But after some time, we discovered that she's epileptic and sometimes she goes into seizures. And that might have been the reason to why she was actually left behind by the rest of the family members. Right now, she's improved a lot. We expect her to get back to normal by the time she's 3 years and ready to go back into the world. The elephants will be coming in smaller groups depending with the number of keepers that are ready to feed them. They know it's the feeding time and they will come in running. We also have another team of 3 rolling in, being led by Maktau, who is 2.5, almost 3 years old, who was rescued from a Sava conservation area, Sava West National Park, and an area called Maktau. Just remind you again, the names for these elephants have a relation to the place they were rescued or reasons that caused them to be left orphans. And that's why Maktau was rescued from a Maktau area within Sava West National Park. He was found in a community at the age of about 3 months, which is not normal and also not safe. And also at 3 months being in a community, we suspected that he might have been left an orphan due to human-wildlife conflict. There might have been a fight or a chasing up and down between the people and the animals, and that's why he was left alone. At that young age of 3 months, he was just very lucky to be found still alive, and that's why we rescued him. Right now, he's approximately 2.5, almost 3 years old, and the second oldest boy that we've got in the nursery after Kiombo. So far doing all right. You can see he's got long tusks. Tusks of an elephant are part of their teeth. They are the incisors. They start to grow when an elephant is about a year old, and they start to protrude outside when they approach the age of 2 years. So when you see an elephant out without any tusks, that elephant is 2 years or is below 2 years. And for African elephants, both male and female have tusks. For the Asian elephants, it is only the males that will have the tusks. So the tusks will grow as long as the elephant grows. And that is why some elephants will be found with longer tusks, thicker tusks compared to the others, and that also depends with the genes of the family. I do have Naleku next to me, who happens to be the youngest that we've got in the nursery, who is slightly over a year old, who was rescued from the Masai Mara, whose mother is believed to have died from a natural disease. And this baby left alone while at the age of about 6 months, and that's why we rescued her. She was found in the company of another bigger female who had a young one that was breastfeeding, and we call this bigger female the auntie. We believe so because they were together with the mother, and this bigger female was only providing protection to Naleku, and since she had her own baby that was breastfeeding, she could not give milk to Naleku, so Naleku would not have survived. And that is what necessitated for us to come in and ensure that we rescue her. Right now, she's over a year old and doing well in the nursery. She's a very independent elephant. She's a very determined elephant. She's a very friendly and outgoing elephant. She likes to do her own things. She likes to play by herself. She's not keen on who is closer to her. For example, all other young elephants always wants to be closer to a bigger female. But for her, she doesn't mind. She wants to go her own way and do her own things, which means she'll be a very independent matriarch out there. Enjoying the dust, playing with the dust pile is an elephant by the name Rojo, who happens to be the oldest, not the oldest, the youngest boy that we've got in the nursery at the moment. And he was rescued from Sava West. The mother is suspected to have been killed by poachers, he is believed to have seen all that happened to the mother. And so when he came in the nursery, he was traumatized and stressed for a very long period. They're all traumatized and stressed when they come in. They're all mourning for having lost the families and the mothers. But for Rojo's case, this took him a long, long period. And that is why he was always comforted by the other bigger females in the nursery who were providing all the care, nursing, and trying to calm him down, until at the moment he has started to adjust slowly by slowly, trying to come to terms that he is an orphan and he has friends close to him in terms of Maisha, in terms of Nabulou, Kiasa, Laro, and all the others. He has now found a family that is comforting him, and he will forget about that and will be strong enough when he goes out in the world. He's an elephant by the name Nabulou, who is the second oldest in the nursery, who is now 3 years old, who was rescued from the Masai Mara, who was also identified all alone, very thin and weak, very much dehydrated and emaciated. She was about a year old by then, and being found at that state of thin and weak meant that she was not getting enough food. And that is why we had to ensure that she's rescued, because at that young age of a year old, without the mother's milk and without protection, she was just very lucky to be found still alive. Some of these cases, actually, it is just a mere luck to find them still alive, because if they happen to lose their families and they're still young, it is not easy for them to survive without milk. And also, they can easily be attacked by the lions and the hyenas out there. So if you find a baby all alone, it is by luck that they're found still alive. Otherwise, the hyenas can kill them easily. The lions can attack even a 5-year-old elephant, a 8-year-old elephant. The lions can easily attack them. And that is why those that are found all alone are the lucky ones that are identified. Otherwise, if they stay longer, then they can die out there from starvation and from the other attacks. I do have, let me talk about Maisha first, who is standing next to Rojo, who is trying to ensure that Rojo is safe and comfortable. Maisha is the oldest in the nursery now. She's over 3 years old. She's taking the role of the main matriarch, the mother figure, the leader of the group, by virtue of her being the oldest female. And this is something that happens by natural instinct out in the world. They actually know that by themselves. They communicate. They know who is older and will all respect the oldest female in a herd of elephants out there. Boys will leave their families after maturity, which is about 15 years. And they leave the families because they start to misbehave from within the families, and the matriarchs, so the bigger females, will start to chase them away. And so when they leave, they want to go and join a bachelor herd, or sometimes they want to go and stay by themselves, or sometimes they want to go and look for females in other herds at a different place. That is why in a herd of elephants, the boys who are there are under maturity, and maybe 1 or 2 bulls who are there for mating purposes. And that is why the oldest is, the leader is the oldest female in a herd of elephants. Maisha taking that role in the nursery and being responsible for all the orphans, giving priority to Rojo. You can see right now standing close to Rojo, touching around Rojo, just ensuring that he is safe. I do have Laro next to me, and Laro is about 2 years old. Laro was rescued from the Masai Mara or Laro Conservancy. She was identified all alone within the conservancy, and she's suspected to have been separated from her family by human beings when she was the age of about 7 months, and that's why she was left alone. Right now, she's about 2 years old, adjusting well, or adjusted well already in the nursery, trying to follow in the footsteps of the other big girls around, trying to learn to become a matriarch. And that's why sometimes when Maisha is not around or browsing away on Nabulou or Kiasa, you'll be able to find Laro next to Rojo, trying to provide the mother care that is needed. I do have Kiombo, And Kiombo is 2.5, almost 3 years old, rescued from the Masai Mara, also identified alone within the park, and nobody knows exactly the whereabouts of the mother and the rest of the family members, and that is why Kiombo was left as an orphan. Then we've got Kiasa trying to feed on the branches on the other side all by herself. She's approximately 3 years. She's one of the elephants that is assisting Maisha and Nabulou to take care of the little ones. She will be making a matriarch in future when Maisha and Nabulou leave the nursery. But I bet she's going to be a very tough mother because she's a no-nonsense elephant. She does, or she goes where she wants and does her own things. And that is why at some point when Maisha and Nabulou will have left the nursery, she'll be left as the mother figure. And we're waiting for that moment to see. The characters keep on changing every now and then. For example, when we have the big females in the nursery, the other females who are younger don't show off their responsibilities right away, don't show off their abilities right away, how best they can take care of the others. But when the bigger matriarchs leave, then you see the real characters coming out. We expect that to happen from Kiasa. And I say this because in the beginning, when she came in the nursery, she was a naughty elephant all through. She didn't have any positive character until the arrival of Rojo, when she started to take care of Rojo and trying to show her character as being a matriarch as well. We do have Nabulou right in the middle. She's 2 years old. He is 2 years old. He's an elephant that was rescued from the Masai Mara after the mother is believed to have died from a natural reason, and that's why he was left as an orphan. So 12 elephants before us now, all orphans rescued from different parts of the country with different reasons for being orphans, staying in the nursery for 3 years before we try to reintroduce them back into the wild within Savo Conservation Area, a process that takes them 5 years or more before they fully get invited and adopted in a herd of wild elephants. Being a chilly day today, the elephants are enjoying the dust bath, being assisted by the keepers, and none of them is actually interested in rolling in the mud. We don't expect them to do that, especially being chilly and drizzling as it is doing at the moment. If you're joining us now, welcome. We are at the Sheldrick Wildlife Trust, Nairobi Nursery, taking care of orphan baby elephants and rhinos, and later on reintroducing them back into the wild. Actually, not only elephants and rhinos, we also have other projects like mobile veterinary units, anti-poaching teams, community projects, aerial surveillance. We got the dog unit, all working together with the Kenya Wildlife Service to ensure that all other animals are safe within the parks. Rojo and Naleku trying to size up, pushing around, trying to prove who is stronger than the other. Naleku very young than Rojo, but proving to be strong as well. And that's why I say she's a very determined elephant. She always wants to have her way. Kiombo and Maktau also, and Maisha coming in to separate the two who are trying to play the pushing game, but Maisha came in to separate, ensuring that Kiombo leaves Maktau alone. That is the role of the matriarch out there, ensuring that all is safe with all the others. Ziwadi trying to join the rest of the herd. Ziwadi coming in to join the rest of the herd. Mostly she prefers to feed on her own, but today she wants to join the rest of the herd as well. So if you're joining us now, welcome at the Sheldrick Wildlife Trust. You can tell how the elephants use their trunk by what Maktau is doing, trying to get the dust, spraying it all around the body, using the leg as well to get more dust together, to pile it together, to get it into the trunk. And their trunk is very important. It is the hand as well as the nose. They use it to grab different types of greens and put in the mouth. They have two finger-like tips at the end. This is with the African elephants. With Asian elephants, they have one tip at the end. Laro dusting right in front with the Rojo and Naleku. Using their feet perfectly also to get the dust together. Showing up is Kiombo, and then Laro lying down on the other side. So you might be wondering the program of the elephants when they're out for a full day. Actually, they leave their stables at 6 in the morning. We've got wooden stables where they spend the night. Each elephant has got one stable, and those that are under the age of 2 years have a keeper spending the night in the rooms. And then at 6 in the morning, they go out in the park, Nairobi National Park. They're always accompanied by the keepers. The milk is sent out to them wherever they are every 3 hours, and this is one of the feeding times. That's why we brought them here. And then they stay out until at 6 or 5, between 5 and 6 in the evening, when they come back for bed. When they're out in the park, we let them do what they want to do as elephants. Some want to play, some want to have a nap, some want to feed. They feed on different types of vegetations. Actually, they know what to feed on and what to not feed, and they actually can't feed on the poisonous types of plants. And they feed on the croton, they feed on the current family of leaves like what we have here now. They feed on the acacia leaves as well, quite a variety. And they also like to get the back of the branches as well, which is very nutritious. So they feed on a variety, although at this age, taking greens, but milk is very important. That's why we have to feed them every 3 hours, day and night. So if you are interested in supporting the work that is done by the Sheldrick Wildlife Trust, you are highly welcome to look at our website, find out how you can donate. You can go on our website, help support by adopting an elephant, which is costing a minimum fee of $50 a year to adopt an elephant. You can support by actually buying some milk for the elephants, or supporting the other projects that are being done by the Sheldrick Wildlife Trust, like the mobile veterinary units, the anti-poaching teams, the community project. And if you support any of those teams, you will be ensuring that all animals are safe within the parks. This is to ensure that the communities are educated, to ensure that the poachers are not out in the park, because anti-poaching teams are patrolling to ensure that any injured animal has been treated and set free to continue with their own natural life out there. So if you go on our website, you'll find out how you can help support the project by donating through our website. And if you want to adopt an elephant, you can do it as a gift to a friend or for yourself. We open an account and we'll be updating your account every month, letting you know all that is happening in the nursery. Thank you very much for joining us. The elephants will head out for the rest of the day until at 5 in the evening when they come back for bed. I want to believe you've enjoyed what we brought to you in your sitting room. It is chilly here on a Monday morning after 11. The elephants are heading out in the bush until at 5 when they come back for bed. Thank you for joining us. Asante Sana.